Hey friends, guess what? We're not at NCA, we're at home, and we're gonna finish reading our Sam the Man, the Chicken Plan. And here's one of our chickens. Who's this?
Echo.
This is Echo. She's a good girl. And the rest of the chickens, let's show you where they went. I don't know if I can change the, I don't think I can change the view of this camera while we're talking. But everybody here, we'll do this very slowly so nobody gets seasick. Let's see, there you go. There's the coop door. That's the automatic coop door Odin was telling you about. It's gonna go down in about probably 30 minutes. So this is our chicken coop. And we just wanted to see if we could read you another chapter before it got too late. We were on chapter 9, a funny name for a chicken. Let's see if we can do this. It's kind of tricky without a tripod. Where's Miranda? Where's Teacher Miranda with our tripods? Mrs. Kerner, let's see, previously on Sam the Man and the Chicken Plan, do you remember what happened? He wants to get his own chicken, and he's gonna maybe get one chicken and add it to Mrs. Kerner's chicken, but he wants to know, how will I tell which egg is my chicken's egg? So his sister Annabelle said, get a chicken that lays a green egg. So he's in search for his own chicken. Well, someone's not happy in there. Popcorn, which you will have to meet sometime. I don't know if she'll come back out. She's kind of bossy. A funny name for a chicken, chapter 9. Mrs. Kerner said Sam was welcome to add a chicken to her flock. In return, Sam would check the chicken's water every afternoon and clean the coop on Saturdays. That's it? Sam asked her. That's all I have to do to pay rent? Mrs. Kerner shrugged. What can I say? Chickens are easy. Are they easy, Odin?
No.
They're kind of stubborn and sneaky.
I'm spoiled.
Yeah. Now all Sam had to do was get his chicken. He and his dad did some research and decided they would try to buy one from somebody nearby. Sam's dad put a request in the classified section of the Marysville community website. Wanted, he wrote. One chicken, not too old, must lay green eggs. The next day, someone named Trisha Hardy emailed Sam's dad. I have a chicken that lays blue eggs. In fact, I have 5 of them. I'm moving next month and need to find them new homes. Sam's dad wrote back that they only wanted 1 chicken and blue eggs were fine. He and Trisha Hardy made plans for Sam and his dad to pick up the chicken. What are you going to name her? Sam's dad asked on the ride over. How do we know it's a her? Sam asked. Here's the tricky part. Turning the page without a tripod. He didn't know if he wanted a girl chicken. Most of his friends were boys. All chickens that lay eggs are girls, Sam the Man, Sam's dad said. They're called hens. Boy chickens are roosters. Do we know if all of our chickens are hens? We don't know. Not yet. We're praying they're all girls. Aw, sweet girl. You better be a girl chicken. We're gonna invite everybody over for barbecue. Boy chickens are roosters. Sam guessed, this is tricky. Sam guessed he knew that already. He felt sort of dumb for forgetting. Could we get a rooster instead? He asked. Nope, roosters are too noisy in our neighborhood. You can only have chickens. That's the rule. Besides, don't you want a chicken that lays eggs? Sam nodded. He'd like to see what a blue egg looked like. The only blue eggs he'd ever seen had been plastic. Sam had thought that Trisha Hardy would live on a farm in the country, but she didn't. She lived in a subdivision called Willow Oak, and her house looked a lot like Sam's house. Let me introduce you to Helga, Trisha Hardy said when Sam and his dad got out of the car. She's out back with the rest of the girls. You can change the name, Sam's dad whispered to him. Sam was happy to hear that. As soon as Sam saw Trisha Hardy's chicken coop, he wished they could have one too. It looked like a real house with windows and a front door. If he had a chicken coop like that, maybe he could sleep in it during the summer. Here she is, Trisha said, carrying a chicken over to Sam. The chicken had reddish-brown feathers and red markings around her eyes and beak. Trisha kissed the chicken on the head. I'm gonna miss her so much. She's such a sweetie. Sam and his dad looked at each other. Sam's dad made a face. Sam made a face back. Kissing chickens was gross. Why don't you kiss our chicken? Show people that it's not gross. Aw, sweet chicken. You know what's gross is when they kiss you back and it makes your lip bleed. That's gross. Sam and his dad looked at each other. Sam's dad made a face. Sam made a face back. Kissing chickens was gross. So why don't you bring out the crate and we'll get Helga settled, Trisha said. Sam and his dad looked at each other again. We were supposed to bring a crate? Sam's dad asked. Trisha nodded. I think we might have forgotten, Sam said. Let me think, Trisha said. I know. I have a box that you could put her in, but someone will have to sit next to her in the car and help her keep calm. They put Helga's box in the back seat. Then Trisha gave Helga one last kiss. Sam's dad gave Trisha some money, and Trisha put Helga in the box. Sam slid the back seat next to Helga. He put on his seatbelt. Do you think I should try to put a seatbelt on Helga? He asked his dad. Just hold on to the box, and I'll do my best not to crash the car, his dad said.
There goes one.
There she goes. Oh, we missed her. She went in the coop. It's a little early. So they're getting in the car with Helga. Helga squawked. How do you like the name Red? Sam asked. Helga squawked louder. She fluttered and flapped her wings. She started to hop. I don't think she's staying calm, Sam told his dad. Just keep her in the box, Sam. Helga hopped a little higher. She squawked a little louder. Sam held onto the box as tight as he could. It's only a few more minutes, Helga, he said. Why don't you take a nap until we get there? Helga took one last hop. She hopped so high, she looked Sam straight in the eye. It didn't look like she was going to fall asleep anytime soon. Squawk! Helga squawked. Balk! Helga balked. And then, with one flap of her wings, she was over the side of the box, headed for freedom. Chapter 9, The Hopping Hen. Dad! Sam yelled. Helga escaped. Keep calm, Sam the man, his dad said. He pulled the car over to the side of the road. Can you catch her? Sam reached down to grab Helga, who was on the floor in front of her box. She hopped to the left of his hands, and she hopped to the right. Then she hopped up into Sam's lap. I caught her, he told his dad. Here's a picture of what's happening. Look at that. Well, hold on tight. I've got an idea, Sam's dad got a blanket from the trunk of the car while Sam held on to Helga. Helga squawked, but she didn't seem to mind too much. Sam didn't mind either. Helga's feathers were soft. He could feel her little heart beating in her chest. He sort of minded her claws, though. He wished they weren't so sharp. Yeah. Let's put Helga back in her box and then put the blanket over the top, Sam's dad said. Maybe if she can't see anything, she won't get so excited. I don't mind holding her, Sam said. I think she likes being held. Sam's dad looked doubtful, but he nodded. Okay, we're almost home. Just don't let her hop up front. Helga had stopped hopping. She sat on Sam's lap for the rest of the ride and looked out the window. When they reached Mrs. Kerner's house, Sam told Helga, this is where you're going to live, but I'll come and visit you every day. After he parked the car in Miss Kerner's driveway, Sam's dad turned around and said, don't forget, Sam, you promised you would pay for a chicken if we let you get one. I did? Sam asked. He didn't remember. He guessed it was fair, though. You did. Helga cost $20. You can pay me back a little every week. $20? Now Sam wished he hadn't bought Annabelle's box. Mrs. Kerner opened her front door and waved. "Did you get your chicken, Sam?" "Her name is Helga," Sam said. He popped out of the car. He was still holding Helga. "I was going to change it, but now she seems like a Helga to me." "If it were up to me, I'd call her Janice," Mrs. Kerner said. "She looks like a Janice, but it's not up to me." Sam's dad and Mrs. Kerner walked to the backyard. "The other chickens might not be nice to Helga right away," Mrs. Kerner said. "At first, we're going to have to put her in her crate next to the coop. This lets the other birds get used to her." "Won't she get lonely?" Sam asked. "A little bit, maybe," Mrs. Kerner said, "but it's better than getting pecked." Sam was happy to see that the crate was big. If Helga wanted to hop around, she would have plenty of room. The crate didn't have a bottom. When Sam put Helga inside, she began to peck at the dirt. The other chickens looked very interested in Helga. They rushed to the edge of the coop nearest Helga's crate and clucked. Cluck, 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 cluck. Cluck. The biggest chicken flapped her wings and shook her head. Sam thought she seemed mad. He had never thought about chickens getting mad before. He didn't know that chickens had any emotions at all. "Did you want to stay with Helga for a little while?" Sam's dad asked when he was ready to leave. Sam nodded. "I want to see if she lays an egg," he said. She might not lay an egg for a few days," Mrs. Kerner said after Sam's dad left. "She needs to settle in. But we'll get her a nest box to sit on, just in case." "I have a box at home we could use," Sam said. "It's probably the not right kind for laying eggs in," Mrs. Kerner said. "You can use one of mine." Soon, Helga's crate was outfitted with a water bowl, a food trough, and a nesting box. Sam thought it looked like a comfortable setup. He pulled a lawn chair down from the deck and settled in next to Helga. He wondered if she would lay an egg if he sang to her. There's Sam, sitting next to Helga. It's pretty much what Odin does with his chickens in the morning. We're going to finish this chapter, and then we're going to stop the video and maybe finish in the morning. "Take your time, Helga," he said, even though he was curious to see what a blue egg would look like. He wondered how much people would pay to see a blue egg. He wondered how much many people would pay to eat a blue egg. He leaned back in his chair and smiled. Sam the man had just come up with a way to how to pay his dad back. Maybe Odin should pay me back for my chickens. I think I've spent quite a bit of money on chickens. So there's chapter 11, and we're going to stop now because the sun is setting and our chicken door is going to go down really soon. Odin and I finished painting the chicken coop today. It's hard to show you here, but we painted it purple and green and yellow, and I wish we could sit here as long as it takes for the chicken door to shut. But we have like about probably another 40 minutes until that happens. And the chicken door, right now, the chicken door closes at 7:30 and then it opens at 6:30. And see back there, there's that umbrella and those crow sheets. That's our trampoline. Little Odin and I have been sleeping under the stars when the smoke is gone and the air is good. It's our little sleeping quarters on the trampoline for now because winter is coming. We're taking advantage of the good weather. Come here, Nino. We'll patch this video together somehow and finish this book. Obin, say goodnight to our friends, even though they might be watching this in the morning. We're going to go into our little sleeping tent out there and get ready for some nighttime sleep. We really miss you guys. My throat is dry. Drink lots of water. It's going to be hot this weekend. Be well, and we'll read more in a little bit. All right, my friends, we love you.